Next up is a powerful female voice in KZN business and is the CEO of the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Phalesa Phili.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. I would really like to start by thanking Brenda and Durban for inviting me to such a special occasion. I think I'm sitting there this morning and reflecting on my own actions as a person and as a leader, and how much I can actually learn from all of you sitting here today and all the presenters. So thank you very much. My team gave me a speech, and as I was sitting there, they said, please make sure you don't go off script. So as a conscious leader, I'm going to go off script and share with you my feelings, for today. And in terms of, from a consciousness point of view, what I'm deriving. A couple of years ago, I had a very serious discussion with one of my members. He's a retired old gentleman, and we were talking about politics. And I was saying, we're just talking about general politics in terms of the world politics, not necessarily South African politics. And one of the key things that he said to me is, the problem that we have in the world is that we are allowing people that don't have conscience, that are not ethical, to rule us. And those that have got consciousness and are ethical are sitting behind, and sometimes sitting in business positions or in other areas where they should not be sitting, but should be out there in the forefront. So starting off with what I'm going to be sharing with you, as well as my experiences from a conscious leader's point of view, is I'd like to implore upon each and every one of you to say, we're sitting here, we've got leaders, ethical, conscious. Why are we not in the political space? I know we always have a reflection and say to ourselves, politics are dirty, it's for politicians, but we've seen what politicians have done, not just to our country, but to the world. So I'd like to implore upon you to please do reflect on that and think of that. Being a leader of an organized business, and of course the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry, given that we are a 168-year organization, comes with a lot of responsibilities. And when it comes to how we hold government accountable, it's very, very important that when we go out there, whether we are writing letters or we're going out to the media, that everything that we take out there is truthful, and we know that it is the right thing to do. We are living in times today where we have some of our leaders, people scared to actually hold those leaders accountable. And we need to start getting up and saying, let us hold you accountable. How are we doing it now in KZN? How we've started doing it is we've realized that some of the leaders, especially civil servants, I know that I'm sitting next to the AG. AG, you're one of the best civil servants that we have. But some of your colleagues, it's a pity and it's unfortunate how they actually operate, that you would tell them that here is a problem and they don't want to acknowledge it. The first thing that they do is they will give you one excuse after another why things cannot be done. And our approach as the Durban Chamber is to say to these leaders, when we're sitting around the table, more especially our city of eThekwini. 2 days ago, I was sitting with my city manager and his exco, and I was sharing with them the issues that are there in the city. And I said to them, I am not going to leave this room up until you admit and accept that there is a problem. Now, that is consciousness. I'd like to also share with you a little bit of a story of the challenges, again, of being an organized business. I was sharing with Brenda when I first chatted to her. She said, I read about you with the challenge that you had where I had written a letter to Minister Pravin Gordhan last year requesting the resignation of the then Transnet CEO, Ms. Portia Derby, as well as her executives. And Brenda was saying to me, I'd like you to come and talk to our conscious leadership because what you've done is you stood up and you said, enough is enough, and you're going to stand up there and say, I'm going to do what is right, and that is consciousness. It was a very tough journey, I must tell you, because I had written a letter to the minister in confidence, and from our Premier's office in KwaZulu-Natal, somebody decided to leak it out to the media, and it was out there. And I remember the minister calling me the same day that I had written the letter. The minister called me and said to me, tell me something, Phalesa. Everything that you've written there, do you have evidence? Do you have proof? I said, yes, I do, Minister. He said, good. I'm going to send my team down to your office next week to come and see what evidence is there so that we can be able to act on the letter. Because we are an ethical organization, we had a file this thick that had come from different members and different areas of KZN to say, this is actually what is happening in our ports, and enough is enough. This situation needs to turn. It cannot remain as it is. So it is very, very important for us to really continue holding the business leaders accountable, holding government accountable, and really being ethical business leaders. I see my time is almost up, time 0. Can I just make another example as I come down off the stage of, ethical leadership? Again, in 3 years ago, I was in the the HRC about the 2021 unrest. And one of the things that I said something about somebody that is doing so well in our province, that is General Mkhwanazi, who's the provincial commissioner. And I said there, in front of everybody, that during the unrest, General Mkhwanazi and his team was not available. And I remember somebody sending me a video of General Mkhwanazi there being asked that I said they were not available, they were not there. And I made a conscious decision. I said, I want to go to General Mkhwanazi and say to him, General Mkhwanazi, what I said was true, and you know I was not lying. I said with him, I said, General Mkhwanazi, I called you, and you never answered my calls, and sometimes your phone didn't even go through. And then he reflected back and said, you know why, actually? You were probably dealing with about 1,000 calls a day. I was dealing with maybe 100,000 calls a day. So it was virtually impossible for me to be able to respond back to you or to so many other people because everything was haywire. Then I said to him, do you realize that what I said there was true in the TRC? Because I put my hand on the Bible and I said, this is what is happening. So thank you very much for inviting me. And I really would like to implore upon all of you to continue what you're doing. This is an awesome platform. And thank you very much, Brenda and Lubin, for inviting me. Thank you very much.